Hello, Lucy here. Just a reminder to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Whether you're new here or a regular listener, thank you for being part of this journey. We have got so many incredible guests lined up, so stay tuned and subscribe now. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Wilderness of Creativity. Today's guest is Nicola Fisher, a passionate self-empowerment coach dedicated to helping women reconnect with themselves, heal from within, and step fully into their power. Through her compassionate guidance, Nikki empowers women to stand confidently in their greatness and reclaim their voice. In this episode, we talk about what it really means to find your voice, the role of creativity and self-discovery, and how to overcome relationship challenges and breakdowns with grace. Nikki also shares practical strategies for personal growth and reminds us that even in the midst of heartbreak, hope and healing are always possible. Right, let's get to the episode. The card that's come up for you is we only regret the chances we didn't take.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. 100%, because I think especially now, like you've said, what was been speaking about, that I've realised just because of my past, I was in a relationship for a long time, so that when that ended, that sort of brought me into where I am now with this, and I realised that I didn't take lots of opportunities. I missed so many opportunities, and like now this is like, okay, so you can't do that anymore, even if it leads you into a situation that you're absolutely terrified or you just don't know what might happen. At least you're not going to regret it.
Exactly. And you're very open on your Insta page about the challenges that you faced and how you have taken back your power.
Yeah.
And you are embracing the unknown and the fact that you want to, use your experience to support other women find their sort of voice, I guess. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you started to find your voice as an empowerment coach?
Yeah. I've come from, my background is I come from a single parent family. We didn't have much, quite poor and everything. So we sort of struggled. I didn't aspire to be anything. I had an idea that it would be, I liked acting and things like that, but I didn't think of, oh, I love this thing, I can actually make it happen. I sort of just went with life, and I was around people that didn't really have much going for them. It was in a bit of a community, a pro community that didn't really have, people weren't doing much. And I had an older sister. My sister, straight away, she was off. She's a dancer, so she went off and she sort of experienced the world. And I stayed at home and I just didn't. And I got into a relationship when I was 14. And I was with that person right up until being 33. And I had children with that person. And it's only when the relationship broke down, it wasn't, I think I clung on to it because I'd not had a father myself growing up in my life. As I clung on to this person because it was the first time that I'd really had that love of a man. I had my granddad, but it wasn't like this person that was a constant, that was there for me, looking after me, supporting me, not just me, but also, doing it together. And just that type of relationship with a male, I'd not had that, so I clung on to it. And even though it wasn't the best, there were times when it was toxic. Probably should have ended it a long time ago, but that's what happened. I don't regret it. It just, that's what I chose at that time, and that's okay. It's brought me to where I am now. And so coming out of that, when it did end, and I knew it was going to end for a long time because I knew it wasn't right. It couldn't go on like that, and it wasn't a good, wholesome relationship that I should be teaching and showing my children either. So when it did end, it came to a point where I was lost. I'd gone from being a young 14-year-old girl that already didn't know where she was going in life, didn't know what she wanted, didn't have a career path or an idea of what was out there in the world. And I didn't really have a drive to find that until that happened. And then that was thrown out into the open, like, okay, you're in the middle of this no man's land now. You need to find who you are, what you want. And I didn't know that I was finding that at the time, but I just knew that I didn't know who I was. And so I went on this big search for myself to know just to understand what life was for me, who I was. I didn't really know who I was. I was very much sitting on the fence in the relationship, just sort of went along with whatever anybody else said, what anybody else did, and I didn't really make the decisions for myself, for my life, and to help it progress. So when that relationship ended, it was like, you're on your own now. You've got to make the choice because nobody else is going to guide you. It's up to you. And so I had these 4 children. I had to make these decisions for. I had myself. I thought, well, I'm trying to create a life for you, but I don't even know about my own life here. So I had to, and I went back into acting then. I didn't go back. I chose. I'd always loved acting, but I'd never ever made a decision to actually go after it. And I did. And I started on my acting journey there. And that's where it sort of developed into where I am now. It sort of progressed slowly. I started to build different things in, and it sort of brought me to where I am now to help other women, because I thought, wow, if you've been through all of this yourself, there is lots of women out there that also need that support too. So it's sort of gone from that to here, and it's sort of, it's opened up a whole new world that I never ever would have thought would exist for me ever.
How incredible that being on the stage, becoming different characters and trying out their lives and walking in their shoes would have helped you discover what you wanted to do. Isn't that incredible?
It's amazing to think that I was quite shy. As a child, I was really, really shy. I didn't really know what to say. I don't know how to conversations and things like that. And I was absolutely petrified of it. I did a degree, is what I did, a drama degree. And I was absolutely petrified of going and performing and going. And I thought, but this is the only thing that you want to do. This is the only thing that I know 100% in my soul that I want to do this. So it was like I had no other option but to go down this path. But it really did open up a whole new world of being these characters, really feeling them as well, Joe, starting to understand feelings and how, where you put apart the character and their emotional state that they're going through. And it's obviously helped me to tap into my own emotions of the characters. Well, you're the character of your life, so how do you tap into your own emotions?
Exactly. And I'm just thinking about all of those children in school who perhaps are struggling with a direction, with finding a path that feels right for them. They may be in a similar situation to you, not necessarily have that sort of guiding or that guidance from their parents or, their friends, their community. And why it's so important to have dance, drama, music, the arts within education, because it can often just plant that seed, can't it?
It's crucial. I don't know what people are thinking, to think that it's not okay to have the performing arts in schools available to every child that needs to have them, because it's an outlet for them. It helps them to understand themselves, not just to perform and act and do all these things. It brings it back to themselves, and you help to open up your own can of worms and explore the dynamics within you and in your own life, and compare to these characters. And I think it allows them to see that there are other ways, there are similarities. You're not this person, an alien, you're not odd or weird. There's a range of characters out there, and you're included. You're not excluded from that. You're part of this thing that's going on in life.
Oh my gosh, that's like it's like mic drop. It's like that is the message, isn't it? And it's amazing now how you have been able to tap into those emotions and understand your experience to the point now where you want to share that with your clients. So how has creativity sort of informed your coaching program then, and how you work with clients?
I think what I do is I'm a bit of a daydreamer. I daydream all of the time, and I sit for a very long, I probably sit for hours and just think in my head and dream about what's going on. So I think that's one of the big parts for me is to use your visualization, just to, if maybe you're not, people think that they're not creative and they say, oh, I'm not very creative, but they are. Everybody is creative in their own, and it might not be the dancing or singing or acting. It might be some other form, cooking, or I don't know, everything.
Everything and anything.
Yeah. And I think it's learning them, or not even learning them, but just maybe helping them to tap into their own ability to visualize and see things bigger than what they are. Because sometimes you get caught up in such a small world, your own little bubble of what's going on, and it becomes very stifling, doesn't it? Where you go, oh gosh, I can't get out of this. But when you start to visualize and see things and work outside of your own sort of energy, it opens your mind up to what is possible, what really, really is possible out there.
And you strike me as the sort of person who's very intuitive.
Yeah, yeah. And I always see that there's a root cause of it, or there's something in there that's very beautiful. It's just that life, or whatever's happened, situations, has put this, I don't know, this character on top of them. So they're not their real, do you know what I mean? It's sort of been dampened down by all the things that happen within life, that they can't see the true core of themselves. And I think that happens when all of these things pile on top, so you're not able to see the root of yourself. It gets put down into the mud, into the basement of your little house that is yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Sort of analogy and that visualization. When you were in that relationship, did you recognize the fact that you'd put your needs at the bottom of the pile, or were you just so in it that you couldn't see? Because I think that's so common, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I was just in it. I didn't see. I knew that I wasn't. You see, because I think I felt loved, and I was very much loved. I ignored the other parts that weren't great, and I'd also not had. I'd been raised in a parent family, so I'd not had that mum and dad situation and this little family unit, and I clung on to that with all that I had, because it was something that I deeply wanted to have. So I sort of ignored the things that weren't great because that was the good thing. But I didn't see. I don't think I saw what I was doing to myself and how it was actually really damaging for me as just a human, a woman, a mother. It was every aspect of me. It was damaging me, and I didn't see it.
And when you actually made that decision, can you describe that moment to me when you realized that you were going to take the road less traveled?
I felt like a fraudster. I felt like, do I belong here? I know that everybody feels like they have a little bit of imposter syndrome now and again, but I felt like more, not even a fraudster, but more, it felt right. It felt right, I think. But because I was with people and I was starting to go into places and be around things that I'd only didn't think that I'd belonged before. I didn't think that I'd belonged there. And it felt right, but just gosh, do you belong here? Are you here? But once we got into those places, it was it just felt like this is what you are. These are your people. These are your tribe. This is for you. And it was it was like an unearthing and a discovery that wow, what's this? Where am I going? It's something that I didn't expect. Didn't think that I could. That it felt right. It did feel very much that it's okay. This is me.
And you're bringing your hands up to your chest as well. And I, this idea of feeling safe, and secure, and moving through the world from a place of belonging is so important. And obviously, when you're working with your clients, they don't know where they belong and how they can, find their place and find their voice. So once you've kind of done your visualization with them and helped them sort of see the benefits of that, see the benefits of thinking outside of what they know already, what's the next step?
I like to write. And so when my relationship did break down, I did start to journal. And I didn't see it as journaling. I was just writing at the time. So my journaling might just be writing. It might be I've turned them into little bloggy type things because some of them are quite interesting. But I wrote a letter to my ex-partner because I had so much.
Did you?
I did, yeah. So much to say to him. And I don't know how long it was. It was very long.
Was it 18 pages, front and back?
I wrote these letters to him, and I didn't. It was just something that I did, and I hadn't read about it or taken sort of a lead from anywhere else. It's just something that I knew I needed to get it out of my head, and it was the only way that I could do it. And so I wrote these letters to him, and I'd never sent them off, but I read them out loud, and I remember reading them when I was absolutely in bits, crying my eyes out, and I saw all the ugliness that came out of me, like full on swearing, everything that I felt. I got them out in this letter. And so I think that's what I use with the women that I work with. Just write everything, get it out of your head, don't hold back, get it out, but just not to give to them, or not to give to, it's not necessarily your ex-partner, it might be whatever it is in life, might be just saying it to the universe even, that this is, all these things that have maybe held you back or stopped you, or anything at all, but just to write. And I think writing it and getting it out of your head and to actually hearing what your thoughts are saying, what's been internalized maybe for such a long time, just to have it out there. And I think it is so empowering to when you read it and you hear what your soul's really saying.
Absolutely. And I suppose, for those people who are listening, if you do find yourself, in a similar situation, or not necessarily in a situation where you're coming out of a relationship, but you feel stuck, and you're not sure which way to go, try the visualizations, and this idea of writing and journaling and writing the letter. I love that. Do you sort of help people organize then and structure the next part of that? So after writing a letter, for example, do you rip it up? Do you put it somewhere safe? Does that just go in the little tool bag at the back, and you bring it out every now and again just to kind of remind yourself of where you've been and where you're going?
I would suggest to rip it up, to rip it up into a tiny pieces and just throw it away. Just get it out, so you've got it out, and now you can sort of rip it and say that's not going to happen anymore. That's how you felt, but now you're going to replace all of those thoughts, all of those feelings, and try to replace it with something that can actually help you make progress in your life, so you can move forward, so you're not going to be stuck. Because it's okay having these things, but you need to do something with it. And just looking at why. Why do you feel like that? What is it that's causing you to feel like that? And how can you address those issues, or whatever it might be in your life? How can you help those things? Look at those things and work them to your advantage, so it doesn't put a barrier in front of you. Because I think we hold on to so many things, and it's easy for us to say, "Oh, I can't do that," or it's because of this, that's happened. I can't, because it's so easy, and it's valid that you say that, because it's a mission and it's a challenge, and it feels like you're having to hurdle over everything sometimes. But sometimes you don't have to hurdle. Sometimes there is a way around it, but it's just seeing it. When you're stuck in the thick of it, you can't always see it. It seems like you've got to break through this brick wall, but no, there's usually ways that you can go around it, over it. There's usually a way. Somebody's usually done it before, so you can pick up on what other people have done. How was that person got there? What did they? What do you know already that you can use to help you move forward? It's looking at different avenues to go down instead of just thinking that that's it, that's caused that, and that's it. It's blocked. Yeah.
Taking the leap of faith and investing in yourself, going to the acting classes, and start performing, I suppose. Would you be encouraging your clients as well to maybe try a creative outlet?
100%.
That would be a great way to start as well, wouldn't it?
It's amazing. I actually do. There's a friend of mine that she teaches art. So it's not art therapy, it sort of is art therapy, because therapy is therapeutic, isn't it? Arts, but she does art. And I did a little class with her. I'm not really a painter myself. I do a little bit of journaling, writing and things like that. But I did the art class with her, and just painting, even though I'm not great at it, it was just for beginners. But that's what she did, is she helped people, beginner painters, but it just helps you to unlock yourself. It stops you from thinking of the outside noise when you start to do something creative. And it could be painting, it might be cooking. Maybe you're a great cook, maybe you're not even a great cook, but you just enjoy the process of cooking, and it is very therapeutic for you. It could be maybe singing, dancing, acting, whatever it might be. There are so many creative things, and everybody's creative in some way. You don't realize it, but it's just tapping into those things. I suppose when you work with people, you can start to, and you speak with them, you can start to get a feel for, okay. And when they start unraveling a little bit, you start to tap into, okay, well, they're good at this. They're really good at this. You can start to play on that and start to pull that out of them and help them to use that as their outlet, creative outlet.
Very often when I'm speaking to people about creativity, and whether or not they feel creative, they often cite school and being told that they're not creative as a point in time where they decided not to pursue a creative career, or they sort of hid their creativity away because it was something that was shamed.
Just coming back to people being told at school as well, not that they're not creative, that it sort of locks the door, doesn't it, to your creative? It's like, okay, I'm not creative, so everything else that could be classed as is creative is not for me because I'm not creative. And it sort of says to you that you're not, but you are in so many ways. It could be something else. And I'm just off the top of my head, my mum, if for an example, she is a big one that says, oh, I can't do this, but she's really good at crosswords and she's very good. Yeah, and I said, Mum, that's all creative as well, because you start having to use your imagination to think, tapping into your own little bits of creativity, because everything is creative.
How do you talk to your clients about, switching off, getting out of their head, getting off their phone, and why that is so important? Because
Oh,
it's such a
gosh, it is.
distraction.
Even when, I know, like you said there, even when you're trying to do something that's creative and it does require your phone, it's putting boundaries there, just letting them know, just think about it, just monitor over the day is a good thing to do, just to monitor how long you've been on your phone, check. At the end of the day, it tells you, doesn't it, how you've been on socials and things like that, how long you've been on your messages. Just have a little look at that, just so you're aware of how long you really are on it, not just what's in your head, because hours go by and you've been scrolling, not doing anything. Or you've been messaging somebody and it's been hours because you've messaged don't know how many people at one time, but just to check so you're aware of how long you are on it, and then make time in the day actively that you don't have to turn it off, just put it on silent, put it in a different room, just to be away from it. And it might be when you maybe cooking your dinner, it might be at night when you go in the bath, or you just maybe you do a morning routine. Ideally, you would do it in the morning where you don't look at your phone for the first hour, just so you're in your own headspace. You can think a little bit without it being influenced by everything that's going on in the outside world. Having that time, it's so important to think for yourself.
I think that's a really, really good tip, because often in the morning we are maybe preparing for work, we're getting the children ready, almost like setting yourself intentions for the day. How do you want to show up in the world on Monday? And you're right, we can't do that if we are bombarded with what everyone else has been up to over the weekend. It's so affecting.
It is, and it sits with you. You think it's not having an effect, but it goes all into your subconscious mind, doesn't it? And it's feeding you your thoughts, and especially if it's a negative something in the morning, you're listening to the news and you get up and you look at your phone and you're scrolling, and it's something negative. That's setting you up for the day to have that in the back of your mind. It's been I really love this. It's actually, it's awoken a little bit of emotion inside me when we've got speaking about creativity and things like that. It just made me, it's made me think like on a bit more of an emotional level. Like I didn't really know what to expect, obviously, when I was coming on here, but it's just like, it touched me a little bit at my core here a little bit, because I'm speaking about creative stuff. Yeah, I think it's because the acting and performing is such a big thing for me, and I don't do enough right now. Because I'm focused on other areas, but it's just a reminder of how important those things are to me, how it's such on a deep level, it has an effect on me.
Yeah. And so often we get busy, don't we? How old are your children?
The youngest is doing his GCSEs, and then my other boy is 19, he's at college, so he's just finishing his last year at college, and then my daughter's 20. She's at university, but she's home for the summer. And then my oldest one is at home and he works, but he's 24. So it's like having these strangers in your house that are growing into adults, but now have their own opinions and want to do their own thing, and have got their own sort of views on life and the world. You're like, oh, right.
Yeah, because as kids, you just think that you know everything. What is because I know you've taken a little bit of time to sort of realign with what you wanted to do, because you were predominantly focusing on supporting women who were going through a breakup and sort of rediscovering themselves. But now you are absolutely focusing on just of supporting women find themselves. Can you visualize and see where it's going?
So I think that the heartbreak thing was more, I knew that I wanted to help women because I knew that from a place of where I been, and I know how much it sort of just stopped me in my tracks and prevented me from really progressing with myself. I thought that I could help other women, but I didn't realize that that's just one part where women get stuck. That's one part that might prevent them from progressing. But I can see myself now working with women. I definitely would like to have like a group with them, maybe, doing speaking with women as well, to go out and actually speak with women, because I do like to have a in-person connection with people. I like to feel people's energies and things like that. I love online, but because I feel like this is like part of the creativity, isn't it? When you run like creating things. So I think that's why it's sort of filled in a little bit of a gap as well for me for the performance thing, because it is here. But I definitely want to build a stronger network of women that can support each other and, can really champion and shout for each other, just to give that encouragement and to empower, because sometimes you just don't see it, do you? I know I didn't see it myself. You just do not see the potential that is in everyone.
Your ability to listen and to bring your experience to the forefront as well, it'll help them to see themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you consider just at something a little, it only has to be a tiny little thing that, like, oh, I can sort of get where you're coming from. I think that can be a massive help, that to know that it's not just you. It's not just you that's had this horrible experience or having this particular time. We're all connected here. But I am part of a group as well that does work with women that have been through domestic abuse and violence. So again, I think I've gone live on their page. So we've had a little bit of a chat with the lady that runs that group. So I've been live on her page. Just a little bit. It is looking, and I'm in the process now of seeking out those different charities that I can work with. I know there's one that's local to me. I'm up in Yorkshire, so I'm looking at ones that are local to me that I can actually go out maybe and speak to. Obviously do things online. I would like to just get in there and even just speak to the women, just sort of give them some hope as well, because it can feel kind of hopeless when you're in those situations.
Yeah, definitely. And if there are people listening who work for those charities or who are based in Yorkshire who would like to work with you, how do people get hold of you?
So I know my name is Nicola _ the Heart Healer on
Yeah.
Instagram, but it's not just for matters of the heart. It's for women, just to sort of help women rise and empower them. So you can find me on Instagram. I do have I was going to say a book.
Not
It's
yet.
not a book. It's a not yet. It's a group called Wonderful Women
Oh,
on Facebook that I just recently started. Again, I started with helping women heal from heartbreak, but just something like, it's not just helping women heal from heartbreak, it's something else. So it's sort of, I've just started to get it going again now, because I know it is for women. It's for these wonderful women they're all wonderful out there. So there's a group, and I am on Facebook as well. So Nicola Fisher on Facebook. So those are the places that you can find me. I'm hanging around on socials, yeah. So
it's not just about women who have gone through a relationship breakdown. Heartbreak can be redundancy. Heartbreak can be losing a loved one, and it's about identifying what that heartbreak is for that person.
it is. Everybody's unique and got their own experiences, don't they, in life? And sometimes it is that's right. What might be difficult for you to understand, for myself, but I think I'm pretty open. I'm pretty good at connecting with people. I think that's the good thing. I'm blowing my own trumpet here, but no, I think like, I think I understand. I understand. I can connect and sympathize and empathize with people, what they're going through. It's just life, isn't it? It can be so challenging, and just to provide somebody a little bit of sort of security that there is a future. You know what I mean? It's not, yes, it's difficult now, and it might be, you might have to go through the mud with this and really sort of work through it and process it all, but there is hope there. There is something more beautiful. There is something within it all. As much as it's difficult and it's hard and you don't want to do it, you want to stop. There's going to be an end to this, and there is something that you can use that hardship and roll it into something amazing to take you forward in your own life.
Before you go, we have got some exciting things brewing. Yes, we have got some merchandise. A big shout out to the amazing Laura Byrne, also known as Mum Rain or Shine on Instagram. Do head over to her account and give her a follow. She has given the Wilderness of Creativity logo a beautiful refresh. We're currently trying to find some time to sit down and chat through ideas, but hey, we're both mums in the thick of the summer holidays, keeping small humans entertained. It's tricky, but this is the wilderness. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Stay wild.